Hello, this is Mel Adames here once again. I'm joined by Jay Greeson. And last week we briefly brushed on the matter of the definition of what is a democracy, because our democracy, as we understand it, is under assault. And that prompted the thought that maybe we should do a program that takes some time in defining these terms: democracy, socialism, and especially in the U.S., where the socialist agenda is rising to the surface. Not raising, but rising. And with so many young students and adults, especially within the 35 to 55 age range, they are finding that socialism might be a viable alternative for them, and that's scary for every American. And I wonder if we can provide some kind of definition for these particular terms, so that people can get a better understanding of how these terms are influencing and affecting the way we see our country, the way we see life in general, and obviously the way we vote in whatever election might be coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so pretty much to go with that, so one of the things that people always often confuse is the fact that we're not a direct democracy. So democracy is essentially majority rules. It's essentially, let's go out to the polls, we're going to vote on this, we're going to see what everybody wants. We are actually a constitutional republic. So just a quick example of what that could mean the difference of. So I'd heard this prior, but back in the Old West, if a group of people come across somebody that they thought did a wrong thing, and they all said, we're going to hang him, who's all in for it? And over 50% say, hang him, man's dead. And in the representative, or the constitutional republic, we have laws. We have things to support people like that. So all of a sudden, sheriff or somebody steps up and says, you know, we got to give this guy a fair chance. We all may think he's guilty, but let's give him a fair chance. So that's kind of the biggest thing as far as the democracy goes. So when you have the people who complain about the Electoral College, for example, we don't do majority rules for the exact reason, you know, and of course the 2000 election was the big problem. And part of that was, and there's a gray area in there, but essentially if you break it down and you have all the cities can control the way everybody else feels, well, all the farmers, you go out to Oklahoma, you go out to Montana, and the people who are a little more sparse, they pile on them, which was kind of a big problem with the Civil War, if everybody's piling on the next people. So we have checks and balances for that. Now, that's what makes our country great, as confusing as it is, as hard as it is, and, you know, obviously there's college courses that are taught on this sort of thing. So to do a short video on it to get people to really grasp, it's tough to do. But just in a, you know, like you've got the conservatives, sorry, you've got
Sure.
the liberals, and you've got now progressives, and those are the main three. Now we've got the Democratic Socialists coming in, but to go with those main three, so essentially the way conservatives go is they embrace family, they embrace America, they embrace pretty much going with what the Constitution says. And I'm sorry, there's actually a fourth in there. There's also the libertarians, and that one's easy to sum up. Libertarians is leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. Government, stay out. You know, there are a couple of things where some of them will kind of disagree, kind of bicker when you get into abortion, because we've come up, is it about the women's right, or is it about the baby's right? And, you know, that's a hot button issue for a lot of people. But the hardest thing when I was looking into this is the actual liberal Democrats, because it's so gone now that I couldn't even hardly look it up. I mean, and we're talking like the 90s Democrats, like when it was slightly off kilter. We weren't arguing whether or not we're an evil nation or we're a great nation. We were arguing how do we make our nation better. And there was people going a little to the left, a little to the right. And they're gone. The progressives have taken over. And you know, and people are okay with that. But really, like, the progressives, when I looked it up, you're looking at Theodore Roosevelt, FDR, those types of people, Obama. And they have four main things that they go with. And I'm just going to try to wrap this up real quick, but they talk about the freedom from and the freedom for. And so their freedom from is you can't oppress me with your beliefs, and I have the right to do what I want to do. But they also talk about the opportunity so that everybody's got equal opportunity. And then they go with personal responsibility and communal responsibility. So take care of yourself, but also take care of everybody else. And then cooperation is we're all going to get together. Now, the problem is that sounds like a great statement, but the way that they try to push it is way different from what it is.